Sadhguruji, there is a question that many of us face on a daily basis in our lives. We are not evolved human beings. We are not sages who can settle down in the Himalayas.
Well,
and,
I thought
convert our lives
Charles
into a
Darwin said all of us are
spiritual-
equally evolved, huh? The evolutionary science says all of us are equally
That's true.
evolved.
That's true. That's true, but the question is, we can't go. Some of us can't go to the Himalayas, and do our meditation and spiritually uplift us, improve our selves spiritually. So, at a time like this, and being the worldly human beings that we are, how can we develop our minds when we have so much to achieve, so many dreams that we want to realize, so much of chaos and stress in our lives, whether it is related to our work, whether it's related to our homes, our children, making two ends meet, improving the quality of lives. How do we improve within all these parameters our own life and uplift it spiritually?
Well, spirituality has nothing to do with going to Himalayas. Unless you like the mountains and you like to climb or you're a mountain goat, you can go to Himalayas. For spiritual purposes, you don't have to necessarily go. At one time, all spiritual people went into Himalayas. One thing is for seclusion, because they didn't have arrangements, so they found caves in Himalayas, so that cave is a place where there is accommodation. But all caves have been taken, so no point going to Himalayas. Another reason why a whole lot of people in northern plains went into Himalayas is because people on the spiritual path were the first ones to be persecuted when invasions happened. When repeated invasions happened, naturally a whole lot of yogis and others moved into Himalayan region. Even there they were attacked, so they moved further into Tibet, and everybody knows the entire Tibetan Buddhism is cultured by the Indian yogis from Padmashambhava to everybody else came from India. And that is very well recorded in the Tibetan history. So going to Himalayas, it's a wonderful place. All Indians must visit Himalayas sometime because it's so absolutely incredible. I must tell you, from the age of 19, for 27 years, every year I went and trekked in Himalayas. So, so it's a wonderful place to go, but not for spiritual purposes, because spirituality means turning inward. Whether you sit in your apartment or under a tree or in the mountain, it makes no difference. But to sit in the mountain, you need to be much more, resilient, because weather, ants, insects, variety of problems are there and food won't come, all these problems. So now you're sitting at home, you're in the ideal place, in your own home. Food is assured, comfort is assured, this is the best place for you to turn inward. So spiritual process is not something exotic that you seek because of somebody inspired you or you read a scripture or somebody told you something. That's not the way it is. If you want to live a holistic life, it is important that you don't live on the surface. When I say surface, this body and the content of the mind we gathered. Something more profound or something deeper than that exists within us. If you want to live a complete life, it's important you have a full picture of who you are. To make it very simple, to make it very mundane, if you buy a phone, for example, everybody is buying a phone every 2 years or 3 years now. If you buy a phone, should you read the user's manual in the beginning, in the first 3 days, or after 3 years when you're discarding it, that's when you read? Why I'm saying this is because a whole lot of people have this idea, spirituality is in your old age, when you can't do anything else, you do spiritual stuff. No, that is not spirituality, that is because you're incapable of doing all the other things. You go and sit at some, in some ashram or some place where they'll read one book for you because probably your eyes won't be able to read either. So somebody reads it for you, somebody gives discourses for you. Spiritual process is not about that. Spiritual process means you want to have a full grasp of this life. Should this happen at the beginning of your life or at the end of your life? Definitely at the earliest possible time it must happen. So is this something… but nobody told me, nobody need to tell you. If you apply the basic sense of human intelligence, it will naturally ask the question, where did I come from, where will I go? Right now I'm here, people are falling dead around me, not necessarily because of virus, even otherwise, every day people are falling dead around me. This could happen to me also. So what is this? What will happen? What is the nature of my life? This is a natural question. Unless you've been messed up with some ready-made religious answers, this is a natural question for every human being to ask, what is the nature of my existence? In my opinion, by the time you're 8, 9 years of age, you have the intelligence to ask this question, and almost every child would, unless parents go about providing them some ready-made silly answers which they themselves do not believe, but they perpetuate from generation to generation. Now at times like this, when behaving consciously is most important, well, spiritual process is very, very important. Spiritual process does not mean it'll take away your life. No, it will enhance your life. This enhancement of life, at what stage should it happen? The soonest it happens, the best. In your childhood it must happen, because you are most receptive at that time, you are not, messed up with your ideologies, with your belief systems and nonsense. A child asks a question, it's a pure question. I'm calling it a pure question because the purpose of a question is to dig deeper. When a child asks a question, he's just asking to dig deeper. But most adults will ask question because to prove themselves smart or to prove a point or do something else. But a child is asking a genuine question because a child is a natural seeker. Because he knows he doesn't know. Even the adults don't know a damn thing, but they've assumed that they know.